Hi everyone, I hope you guys are all well. I have to excuse how relaxed I look this morning. It's very early on Saturday morning. I'm getting my videos done now out the way. I'm having a weekend at home, but I'm going to be having a writing weekend. So I need to get these filmed ASAP and now I can get back to my writing. Thus, I look very relaxed. It's very early. It's like 6:30 in the morning. So, yay. Anyway, enough about that. Let's talk about why I'm here. And I'm here to give my thoughts on the Amber Spyglass by Philip Pullman, the last in the His Dark Materials books. So I started this actually only a week ago. It's been like I think 2.5 weeks or something since I picked it up. I announced it was the next book I was reading because I'd finished the second His Dark Materials book, but I only started it really this week because I've been hectically busy. And it's been an interesting read. I feel kind of weird about this book. Not that I'm not weird in a way of I didn't like it. I'm frustrated about it, but then at the same time, I'm not blown away by it. The thing about this book, so if you don't know, this is the third of the His Dark Materials series, or trilogy, should I say, the final book in the trilogy, and it follows from The Subtle Knife. It's straight on, just as with the first into the second book, there's no kind of gap in time, it's bang straight in, and same with the third one, it's bang straight in after the second book ends. And he very, very rarely, just as in the second book, he very rarely refers to events that happened in the previous book, or books in the case of this one. And this one, straight off the mark, felt very erratic. Now, the reason why I say that is because you have these singular pages at the beginning where you have a conversation. Lyra's having a conversation with somebody. So you have like this. So you've got these pages where it's just conversation, and the end mid-sentence, and then you go on to the next page and oh, you've got a full chapter. Then you go after the end of that chapter, you're back at the mid-sentence point and carrying on the conversation. And it's constantly, each of these chapters are constantly flipping back and forth between different people. So you've got like you've got a page with Lyra having this conversation, a chapter with Seraphina, another page of Lyra, then a chapter Will, another page of Lyra, a chapter with Yorick, another page of Lyra. It's just, it kind of, yeah, it was a bit of an erratic start. It then settles down once we probably meet up with Lyra, but then at the same time, it doesn't. It feels like it's going 100 miles an hour in a 50-mile-per-hour zone, something like that. Everything is constantly moving, constantly changing. We're constantly meeting new characters, and we're trying to keep track of them, and they're moving about here, there, and everywhere. So I kind of felt like The Subtle Knife, even though you did have various movement of jumping in between the three worlds, as I talked in my previous review, it still was quite calm. There was movement, but it wasn't crazy erratic. Whereas this one, I was going, wait, where am I? Where am I? I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be. It kind of went a bit all over the place. Now, saying that though, the quality of the writing is still really great. The stories, how he's progressing people's characters, the new kind of puzzles in a sense get created, the creation of the Amber Spyglass and what that means is great. But I can't help but have a negative thought about it because of the erraticness of what is going on. I kind of would have liked it, perhaps. I don't know if it's just because of the way that he planned the story. It meant that all of that had to happen in the third book. I wouldn't mind if some of that erraticness had happened in the second book, so then, or like the second half of the second book, so then that way you're kind of building up this tension, this atmosphere of all this craziness going on, and then when you know, bang, end a second book, that made me more eager to read the third one. I was eager to read the third one, but I was, you know, as I said in my previous review, I liked The Subtle Knife, but it didn't have the intensity, it didn't have the stomach punch that the first one did. And I think when Northern Lights, or The Gold Compass, depending on where you are in the world, because of the names it was published under, I think with the first one, when you break it down, you have like the calmness and a bit of the movement of the, like, is what is in The Subtle Knife in the first half of the book, and then the second half it really starts to hype up. In The Subtle Knife, the second book, it feels you've got movement, but it feels quite calm throughout. There is some hectic kind of crazy running kind of sections of it, but it's not to the same degree as Northern Lights. And then the Amber Spyglass just goes like full on bam, running like crazy mode, flipping back and forth between people, having conversations, as I said, a page stop mid-sentence, and then you pick it up a chapter later and stopping mid-sentence, and then it just felt a bit frazzling to me. I still enjoyed it, but I don't know if, because of the way that it's structured, if I would have liked it more if it wasn't so crazy and erratic. But, I really enjoyed, as I said at the end of Subtle Knife, I was really upset that there was characters from Northern Lights who I didn't get to see, and that really upset me because I really wanted to know how the characters were doing and everything. But they came back in the third one, and I was able to see who was okay, who wasn't okay. And because of this book, because of the places that Lyra and Will go, we got to see friends who had passed away in the first two books, which was really nice to know that they're okay. It was, as soon as they said they were going to go to the land of the dead, I was like, oh my god, they're going to see them, aren't they? These characters who have passed away. I don't want to say exactly who, in case you guys haven't read these books and want to read them. But I was really happy that they were going to be doing that. I would tell you more about certain events and the places that these characters go and characters that they meet along the way, but in order to do that, I'm going to have to do a lot of spoilers, and I don't want to do that in case you guys haven't read it and want to read it. So yeah, I'm gonna keep this. This is going to have to be a really short review. I've just figured out, like, nearly 8 minutes in, because I can't really divulge any more than that. When it comes to the ending, I will say this is not giving, stuff away, and I was heartbroken by the ending, because I didn't want Will and Lyra to be separated in the way that they were. I really grew to love them as a team unit, and it's very interesting in this book as well, because they both have this kind of sexual awakening, because they're at their age, and how they feel about it and what emotions it stirs in them. And Lyra has this really interesting description of how Lyra feels this like tingling feeling inside her and at the root of her core, and how it runs through her body and everything. And he talks about how she's got a key to a house inside of her that she didn't know existed. It was a really interesting way of describing it, and I really loved that. And then I read on Wikipedia page about the novel that in the American version they censored that section, so you have the very beginning sentence, and then you had the end bit about the finding the key to the house inside her. But you don't have any of the middle bit, and the middle bit is really really kind of a powerful description, a really interesting piece. If you're able to go onto the Wikipedia page for about the novel, and you can see the two side by side. It's yeah, interesting piece that. But yeah, I loved the sexual awakening of Lyra. I loved her relationship with Will and how it developed from being this interesting relationship in the second book where they were friends, but they weren't friends. She kind of drove him absolutely nuts, but they were very protective of each other, to this blossoming kind of romance. But I was devastated by the end of it, and my mum and dad are planning a weekend soon to Oxford. And my mum was like, I really want to go on a tour of Lyra's Oxford. And I really do too. And I really want to go see the bench, this bench that is so important in the story of Will and Lyra, that kind of comes to the end of their relationship. I would really love to go there. And again, on the Wikipedia page about the novel, you see pictures of a bench, and people have carved Lyra and Will into it. It's just, it's wonderful, yet it's so heartbreaking at the same time. Would I read it again? Yes, I would. But now that I know the erratic kind of style of the writing and the craziness of what is going on, I think I will enjoy it more because I know what it's going to be like. So yeah, I definitely would reread the series again. I'd be intrigued by the Book of Dust, which, you know, the most recent book that he's brought out. Philip Pullman has brought out. My mum's got a copy. I might borrow a copy and just have a read of it. But yeah, I definitely reread the whole of the series. When it comes to my favourites, I think I'm going to have to put them in the order of the trilogy. So Northern Lights still remains my absolute favourite. Then The Subtle Knife, and then The Amber Spyglass. But I'm putting The Amber Spyglass last because of the erratic nature of how it's written and such, and how that kind of made me feel when I was first reading it. Well, when I was reading it, shall I say. Because this is my first time reading it, so I'm just kind of thinking, just like in the future, I'm already topping up in my head, oh yes, I'm going to read it X number of times in the future. But yeah, I think at the moment, but I have a feeling that if I reread The Amber Spyglass in the future, the order would change to Northern Lights, then Amber Spyglass, then Subtle Knife, because I would be more comfortable with the way that it's written and structured and everything. So yeah, I would thoroughly recommend these books. I would, yeah, I'm really happy that I've read them, and I'm really glad that Philip Pullman wrote them, and I really want to give him an applause for what he's done for children's literature and, well, young adult and also adult literature, because this is a universal kind of book, but even though it's marketed mainly for kids, what he's saying in these books about organised religion and such, and the themes that he explores, it's a fabulous story. I love that it says in Amber Spyglass there are characters who have been the baddies kind of throughout, what their decision is that going forward, and the fact that they do what they do. I respect the characters for having done that. I just fell in love with the world. I fell in love with all the characters. I've really thoroughly enjoyed my time reading the His Dark Materials books, and yeah, I can't imagine giving them away. I can't. So yeah, that's my thought on the Amber Spyglass. Now, as I have been saying through the other reviews, the BBC have a series of radio plays that they did of the series. This is the entire trilogy box set. You can buy them individually, and these are the covers for each individual one. And the Amber Spyglass is this one. Just as I've said for the last two reads, these are absolutely fantastic. I strongly recommend them. The girl who plays Lyra sometimes kind of irks me, but that's just like a minor, really picky thing that I can think of, a really picky negative. But these are really great. They follow the story fantastically. The cast is awesome. Yeah, they follow the entire books exactly how they're written, and I just love them. So yeah, if you're able to get hold of a copy, I recommend the BBC radio plays of the His Dark Materials. And as I said, this is the full trilogy box set, but you can buy them individually, and these are the covers. Okay guys, so I'm going to stop there, and yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this. Have you read this book? I'd love to know what you think. You can leave me a comment in the comments box below, or you can give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down. Entirely up to you, I'll let you decide, and I will be back soon announcing what the next book I'm going to be reading, which will be non-fiction, and I have a couple of new books which I'll be announcing in that video too. Alright then guys, bye!